the video was going to be doing the Battlefield 5 thoughts and all that. It's still happening. Don't worry. But just because of time and everything, and also because I think this is probably a more important issue, given that we're just come off the back of, at least in the UK, Mental Health Awareness Week. And a very interesting Twitlonger / report has showed up. Yang Van, who is the team manager for Overwatch's Shanghai Dragons team, put out a Twitlonger in response to the fact that, as it stands in the Overwatch League, they have lost all 32 of the matches that they've competed in. Which, you know, is a little concerning, considering that's over 3 and a bit stages, because they're currently in stage 4. I was watching a lot of the first stage, but I sort of dropped off when they were having their gaps and whatever. But some interesting stuff came out, because obviously, you know, having lost every single game against every opponent that they faced, people were wondering, so what are they doing for training? You know, how are they coaching themselves to be ready? We didn't expect what was coming, I think. Yang Van's... Oh, to be honest, rather than just quoting the thing, I'll go to the actual statement. So they play 10 games in a season, so that's why it's on 32 at the minute. As of recording on the afternoon of May 23rd, before the next set of matches happening later on in the evening. You know, fans of Shanghai Dragons and Overwatch League, here's a letter from our team manager regarding recent events. Our last 2 losses have disappointed and hurt you. I'm selecting a few bits here just because it's like greetings and fans of Overwatch that I'm cutting out, even though I've just told you it. Here I offer my apology to all the fans for letting you down again. We're sad as well and hating ourselves for not even having seized the opportunities to win. As 2 matches ended up in losses, we see many questions, criticisms and blame from you. We understand that we have to take those after we lost these 2 games. We had the most intensive training scheme amongst all the teams ever since we arrived last December. This is where it starts to get, like, look into the details. Our daily schedule starts at 10:30 as we leave the training facilities and return to our houses around 10:30 to 11 o'clock with a possible training extension till midnight. They don't specify when the breaks happen. So, if you look at that, depending when where the training facilities are, let's say, to be generous, half an hour, even if it isn't actually in the team house already. That'd be 11 AM to 10 PM. That's 11 hours. Possible training extensions to midnight, though. So that's over 12 hours. We train 6 days a week with 1 week off. So in theory, it could be as much as 72 hours in a week grinding out for this game. During the mid-stage breaks, we have 3 to 4 days off, depending on other team schedules, if we can have scrims with them. Scrims is basically sort of friendly sort of competition between the two. But then 3 to 4 days off. But the thing is, because of where the mid-stage is full, that means they're still doing 3 3 to 4 12-hour days on the thing. And then, of course, because they're then back the following week after the week off, they go straight back into the 6. This is how intensive we train in the US. We ask all our players to give everything in training, but you also let players relax however they want during off days. Yes, but I don't even know if it's that bad and that prolonged for League of Legends, CSGO, all these other teams. I mean, this is we've talked about I don't know whether we have on here, but I'm pretty sure most of you are aware of the concept of the crunch in just game development. Hell, it's come up recently in the news anyway as an interesting topic about how most of the stuff that goes into video games actually sort of gets pushed out within the last month or two of development before it goes to get approved and then goes onto the shelf. Now, let's say if a game comes out first week in November, it'll probably get sort of processed and made gold as in an actual release sort of by early to mid-October. So, let's say July, August, September, they try and cram everything they can into sort of that size of a window. Despite everything that's, despite the game possibly being in development for 2 or 3 years. It's a growing concern, and it's something that's, being talked about a lot. But to me, the same applies to here. If you're giving these guys 12 hours a day at possible work, to train on this stuff, and give them 1 day off a week, and the only time they can relax is when they get out, between when they get back to the house and when they leave the next day, which could be, I don't know, 9-10 hours maybe, but then they got to sleep as well. So it's like, whether that schedule, I don't know whether this is because of the Shanghai style of working and whatever, because it is aware that I am aware sort of that there is some sort of structure, at least when I've seen Chinese, well, certainly an Asian structure actually, because I've seen it with South Korean StarCraft 2 teams when they had a team structure and whatever, or hearing about it at least from like Total Biscuit and whatever, and hearing about what he had to do with his esport team. There were some pretty crazy schedules from other teams that weren't his, in terms of really trying to sort of hone the craft by, being in ridiculous times. I mean, you hear the stories about these South Korean Warcraft or StarCraft or League of Legends players that are literally died at their computer because they just sat there for 2 or 3 days. Anyway, the statement continues on saying, upon finishing Stage 3, which was a couple of weeks back, they chose the 6th, the 9th, the 7th, the 9th and the 13th as their days off. So Sunday, which was finals day, which they weren't part of anyway. 7th, which was the Monday after. Tuesday they ground. Wednesday day off. Thursday, Friday, Saturday they ground. And then Sunday they had off. And then grind all the way to Wednesday, the 16th. I think that was when their first match was for the new stage 4. I'm not sure, but it was according to other teams' schedule and their own travelling plans as well. Many fans have been questioning and were confused why several Shanghai Dragons players were playing other games. To make a serious investigation into the matter, we checked every player's game records with their respective in-game IDs. We can confirm that most happened during off days, which are the 4 days. Except some particular players of the team, most players, in all players that fans have questions about, played other games between half an hour to 3 hours during off days. So people were criticising these people. I don't know whether this is Shanghai Chinese fans or whatever, because I don't understand why people are criticising gamers, professional gamers, from playing other games, especially if you're doing it for 72 hours a week. You're going to want to detach and relax in something that isn't Overwatch, because your bloody your nose is to the grindstone. And even the team manager, Yang Van, says here, I think it's worth a discussion on how players who are passionate about a game should relax themselves when living in America and having a daily schedule of almost nothing but training and rest. Well, a lot more training than rest, let's be honest. This doesn't mean we've ever let up on training. We're still pulling every minute during training days into Overwatch in order to solve existing problems. We hope we can win a game soon to answer fan support. Besides, this recent investigation has further confirmed some issues that we have found out are going to be handled internally in the team. So, it's basically a case of, is this 72 hours actually a detriment to this team? Because they're going to be stressed out because it's like, we need to grind and get this win. And then also burnout, because it's like 72 hours a week. Now that this has come out, I am intrigued whether Blizzard is a little concerned that they may be causing some issues here. Especially with their flagship sort of franchise at the minute that's going on. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on here. Whether even, I know Shanghai is supposed to be locked in for like a multiple number of years because of the Overwatch League. But if this is the details and it's sort of, this 72 hours is leading to sort of no effects at all, except probably the detriment of the players being exhausted, maybe something has to be done about it. Which I feel sorry for Shanghai Dragons, because, obviously that means one less team, or a team that will have to get drafted to somebody else or whatever. But I don't know whether a up to 12-hour-a-day schedule is a good one. As I say, in the close, given how close we are to Mental Health Awareness Week over here in the UK, is there a border that's being crossed by this? Do FIFA players play 72 hours a week? We haven't really got any figures on it. Do the top tier professional FIFA players play 72 hours a week? Do League of Legends teams do it? Does it even go that bad in StarCraft? Even though, you know, as I've heard, that there's some major things going down with that. All the other esports, you know, Rocket League, Rainbow Six, CSGO. I think that's all the ones I can think of, at least the major ones. Or Call of Duty. Might as well mention that one there. It's an interesting topic. If you want to comment on it and give your thoughts on the situation, feel free in the comment section below. There's more content: gaming, food, wrestling, movies, all that sort of stuff here on the channel. There might be some over on the sidebar scroll thing. The certain way you can is hitting subscribe on the little button by the Podcast Network channel thing. And I don't know whether the bell thing works. You know, it says a lot that notifications don't just work. You have to have a bell for them to force the notifications on you. But either way, I'll see you on the next video, everybody. And yeah, considering what I've been talking about and the issues of mental health, if you feel like taking a break, do so. Because that could be more positive on your health than trying to work through on something further. Wow, this actually ended on some sort of philosophical note. I ended the video normally. Or sensibly. Not normally. Okay, I just went out the window.